But I told you I don't like this thing. I told you, babe. I told you I don't like it. And you're still doing it. Why do you keep doing that? Are you intentionally trying to hurt me? Sounds familiar, right? Have you been in that situation where you felt like you communicated what you wanted to speak about, but your partner seems not to get it? Have you been in that situation where you feel like you have said every other thing that you could have said, or you have used the best words to communicate, but your partner still finds it offensive? This video is for you. Hi everyone, my name is Gloriana Ayelitete. I'm a wife, a mom, a public health practitioner with interest in maternal and child health. If you are new here, you're so welcome. I'm so blessed to have you here. Thank you so much for the support so far. In today's episode, we are going to talk about effective communication in relationship. Let's get right into it. So one thing that getting into a relationship taught me was the power of communication. It's very important that you learn how to communicate effectively before you settle down with anybody's son if you're a young girl watching me, or anybody's daughter if you're a young man watching me. One thing you should understand is that communication is not complete if there is no feedback. And when feedback is not acted upon, it still isn't complete. Why do I say that? In relationship, you find yourself having to communicate everything at every point in time. No matter what you think you know, you still get to learn whilst you communicate. So when you are dating somebody, it's very important that you also learn the act of communication, because that is where you can channel your grievances. That is where you can make your partner know the things that you like and the things that you do not like. But one thing that people always forget is that communication is not only about words. It also has to do with your gestures, your reactions, your responses to things happening around you. Even this particular thing that usually breaks up a lot of marriages, the use of toothpaste. So let's say that you like to press the toothpaste from the bottom and your partner likes to press it from the top. Now you get married and you do not communicate about some of these things. When you get settled down, that is when you begin to realize that anytime you press from the top, he also comes to press from the bottom, and you find it infuriating. For some people, they would decide to keep quiet and just let go. For others, they would keep quiet but silently hurt deep down, and they don't know how to tell their partners that, this thing that you are doing, I don't think that's the right way you should do it. You should do it this way. Before you even engage in communicating anything at all, you need to try to understand the background they are coming from, how they have lived. That is why I always say that before you have high expectations of your partner, you should understand that you were both not raised by the same family. So there's going to be some differences. There's going to be some cultural shocks. That is why you need to be open-minded before you even decide to get married to somebody. Now, in communicating your plight, there's a way you go about it. If you go about it aggressively, definitely there's going to be an aggressive response. Even the Bible says that a soft answer turns away wrath, which means that there's a way you communicate things to people, especially women, that makes it easier for them to understand and also respond in a very favorable way. But if you are communicating in a harsh way, for instance, I told you I don't like this thing. I told you that you shouldn't be pressing it from the bottom. You're always pressing it from the bottom. You like that. You are fond of that. What kind of village lifestyle is that? If you should say that to your partner, it's definitely going to hurt, because remember, what you don't want to be done to you, you don't do it to another person. The best way you could go about it is, Annie, I realize you like to press from the button. Is there a particular reason? Then maybe he might give you a reason. Then he goes like, okay, well, from the home that I was raised in, because maybe we had scarcity, or we just felt like that was the right way to press toothpaste, because it then makes it easier for the next person going to use it, and she or he wouldn't have to now try straining to press the toothpaste upwards before having a pea size to place on their toothbrush. Now he has explained to you why he does that. Then you also tell him why you also like to press it from the top. Then you guys decide on which one is the best. But if you decide to assume and decide to make fun of people that you are in a relationship with based on their certain practices or characters, you are doing yourself a disservice. And that is going to go a long way to affect your relationship to some extent. Another thing about communication that people do not take seriously is thinking before you communicate. Most often, people do not think about the words they're about to bring out. All they know is, I have brought it out, and however it came out, I do not care. There are sometimes that you communicate something that you did not intend to communicate in a certain way. But then at the end of the day, it comes off in that particular way, and that can be very offensive to the receiver. So before you engage in any form of communication with your partner, you need to have thought about it. The right words to use, the right tone, the right pace to use in speaking, or even if it is your bodily cues that you're going to use in communicating, you try as much as possible not to do it in a disrespectful way, or doing it in certain settings that would make people presume that both of you are having issues. Also, you ensure that whatever signals you get based on whatever your partner is communicating to you, you act on it. When I say you act on it, what I mean by that is that you make sure that you take steps into mitigating whatever might be causing that discomfort they are trying to express. Or if the communication is positive, you still act on it by appreciating whatever has been communicated to you. You don't just assume that the message has been passed across and that is what they intended to do, so you're not going to say anything about it, or you're not going to take any steps concerning that. That is not helpful in a healthy relationship. Every healthy relationship that is based on good communication ensures that there's always a closure, in a sense that whatever communication signals you receive, you act on them and ensure that you both are on the same level of understanding. Nobody is lagging behind. Nobody is misunderstanding anything. The beauty of good and effective communication in a relationship is that you are able to build some kind of friendship as a couple, and you are able to rule out every tension. There is no misunderstanding. There is no bias too. Everybody is open-minded. And even in seasons where third parties may try to infiltrate your relationship, you realize that because there is effective communication, they are not able to destroy whatever you've built over the years. Over the years, communication is one of the things that I have had to learn the hard way. Because growing up, I was not really good at giving feedbacks. All I was good at was taking people's instructions in and doing my best to discharge them. I don't do any feedbacks. I'm just nonchalant about anything, and I did not really care whatever was going to happen. But then having to get into a relationship, I had to learn that sometimes you need to learn to speak up. Even if you can't speak up, you can write letters, you can send texts, and even in your texting, you need to ensure that you are using the right tone, because if you type in a certain way, it is going to be read in that particular way. For instance, you are using capital letters to type all through. That is going to tell the receiver that you were shouting when you were writing that, or your intent is to shout. Or let's say you are using exclamation marks. That means that you're really agitated and you are really, really, really shouting on top of your voice. There are certain things that when you do, be it texting or using your voice or using images or cues, whatever you are using to communicate, make sure that you are doing it respectfully. There's this thing that I learned in different cultures and different languages. Doing this means so many things. To some people, it means thumbs up. It means you've done a good job. To others, it might mean an insult. To others, it means you are short. There are different meanings to different gestures that we do. So before you even use a certain gesture to try to communicate with your partner, you need to make sure that that partner you are communicating to also has the same level of understanding of the gestures you're trying to use. If not, there's definitely going to be miscommunication and misunderstanding. And one thing that I'm going to leave you with is that when you're able to communicate effectively through any means, any channels, you always have peace in your relationship. There is no doubt, there's always trust, there's no misunderstanding, there's transparency, and you know that okay, this is what I should expect expect if I do this. This is how I should expect my partner to react when I do this. And that is how you thrive in your relationship. So I want you to know that the problem is not with you communicating. The problem is with how you communicate. There are different approaches to communication. So that is one thing that you need to know. When you enter into a relationship with somebody, you don't stop learning. You take the avenue to learn other things. And the truth is that sometimes, even before you try to communicate whatever it is you are trying to communicate, your partner is aware. Sometimes they are already aware. They are just waiting for you to talk about it, or to show some signs that this is something that you need to talk about. But the moment you are not able to find the right way to talk about them, they also decide to ignore, which is not good. I wouldn't say it's a good thing. So that's it for today. I'm going to come your way with another episode that is going to be a blessing to you. Till then, stick and stay. Share the videos to anybody who needs to hear this. If you have a friend in a relationship or in a marriage who keeps complaining and are not able to communicate effectively with their partner, I think you should share this video to them, because it's going to help them better communicate. Thank you. God bless you, and I love you. Bye.